beast out in the bush to find a wooden mileage marker. It's very old. We're on the Windora to Baduri road, and there are quite a few of these along this stretch. It's fascinating because the borers haven't eaten them, termites haven't eaten them, and it's as good as new. You can still see the mileage marks on it. A rare sight. We'd had a few spits of rain at our bush camp overnight, so as we left Windora, we were driving into quite threatening skies. We weren't worried about the first 100 kilometres because that's narrow blacktop, but the next 260 into the little hamlet of Baduri is formed earth road, and it runs through the channel country, including the famous Diamantina channels. So we were quite concerned if the rain became any heavier. However, our hopes for improving weather were in vain. It soon began to rain quite heavily, and out here 20 mils of rain will close a road because it's flat and there are only shallow channels. There's nowhere for the water to go, and the roads aren't designed for rainy weather. So what had started off as an interesting drive became a survival drive, because already the channels were filling and the edges of the road were saturated, so we couldn't go back even if we wanted to. The Mitsubishi traction and stability control systems worked very well. It was frustrating for old-timer drivers who would prefer to have been able to gun the vehicles out of some of the channels because the traction control system restricts horsepower in these circumstances. So it was a bit frustrating to press on the loud pedal and not get much response. But the vehicles kept straight and the trailers kept pretty straight, and we did an excellent job of getting out of survival conditions. We came across a surveyor in a solo vehicle, and he was surprised to see that we'd got through it all. He had a big spin and he was as wide as a sheet. Great fun, great footage, but we don't really want to do it again. We'll have to take the Coward's Way out, I think, and go up round the Blacktop through Mount Isa, and then we'll come into Alice from the north. And look forward to a balmy night under the stars. It didn't quite work out that way. The sky was clear enough when we went to bed, but not long after we woke to the soft patter of rain. A wine glass we'd left out had about 30 mils of water in it, so it was quite a dump. In the morning we could hear the river that we'd crossed easily on the way in, so we drove down to have a look, and what we saw were fast rising waters, and there was no way we'd cross. Clearly we were going to spend 2 nights in Red Bank Gorge before we'd get to Roma. Now it was rock testing time, and we headed up this stony, ripped up river gorge. We were a little concerned about damaging trailers and couplings, but we needn't have worried. All the trailers handled this quite well. Fully refreshed, we took a side trip up to the southern Lost City, which is on the Savannah Way, just to the north of Cape Crawford. And this gave us an opportunity to check out the Pajeros, Challengers and Tritons on some corrugated, dusty road. Everyone was impressed with the ride quality of the vehicles in these conditions. After Adele's Grove, we drove up to Burketown and then camped overnight at Leichhardt Falls. I've been here before on the Camel Trophy, way back in 1986, when this rutted stony flat was a special stage in the competition. This was a much more relaxing stay in this beautiful spot. And here's the track that the land-wide Solara drew of our journey.
Well, we made it. We've gone from the east coast and now we're on the coast at the Gulf of Carpentaria. And in between has been some bitumen miles, mud, unbelievable mud. The road we were on was shut shortly after we got off it. We've had rocky river beds, dry creek beds, deep water crossings, corrugations, bull dust that you couldn't see through, and all the time the vehicles and trailers performed perfectly. We've had one loose turbo hose clamp, an easy fix in Alice Springs. We've got a stone chip that's turned to a crack in one windscreen, and we've had a few electrical problems with trailer couplings that have been damaged that we fixed as we went along. Considering the conditions, over 7,000 bush kilometres, the vehicles and trailers have performed absolutely brilliantly. A great trip, we had a good crew, we drove sensibly even in the extreme conditions, and the result is a happy, successful trip. No damage and a great time had by all.